Hey everybody, welcome back to FeedbackLoop. I'm Jeremy,
And I'm Joey.
and that was an incredibly long pause.
Oh my god, I was like, wait a second, am I supposed to start? And then you started.
I could feel the suspense building, just bubbling up. But anyways, we're back. This is episode 107, season 2, episode what?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Joey was caught off guard
I
by me
was
asking. I'm never going to know what episode it is within a season.
I have it at the top of my notes, but I was further down on my notes and I was like, oh shit, I gotta scroll.
Shit, this past fortnight, as every fortnight, feels like it just keeps getting longer and
Yeah.
longer. And I know we say this every week, and I know I say I say it every week, but we're just gonna keep saying it every week.
I mean, we're stuck in a feedback loop. That's been that's the long play of this. It's a loop into insanity.
It's just the same shit every week. That's not true. We listen to new shit every week, every fortnight, every 2 weeks.
That's the whole
every
point.
14 days. So previously, I made a few promises. Kept good on some of them. 2 of them. I did not listen to More Songs Ohio. I did not listen to Joji's Nectar.
No, that's fine. That's totally cool.
And I didn't listen to a whole lot of Weedian's Trip to Japan either. Even though today, as of recording this episode on July 14th, they did release Trip to Ukraine, and we both listened to that at least a little bit earlier today. So kind of maybe vaguely kept good on that promise. But the big one that I did keep up with was Touche Amore, Stage 4. I checked them out.
What'd you think about it?
And I like it, but I feel like there's potential for me to like it more. Like I don't have any complaints with the album, but it didn't hit right. There was just something that didn't really connect. Like I was enjoying everything. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. It's cool. I like the sound of that, but it didn't really like connect with me. So I think I'm going to keep that in my back pocket because I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's some missed potential that happened with my listen.
So speaking of Touche Amore, a part of like a tentative promise that I made was that I was going to listen to more of that album to try to see what the future held for it. And I listened to it more.
Yeah.
And I think it grew on me, but I think it's because of, I guess, just the timing. Like whenever I first listened to it, I think the mood was right, but then it's like the mood got better because like earlier this week, for full disclosure, my daughter had like a routine eye surgery, I guess. It was like a surgery on the muscles around her eyes. So it's like something that is done whenever you have like eye drifting or something. But I think it was like the hospital setting and having to go through something like that, that I listened to it more and I feel like it hit me better because of that.
That's good.
It was so recent, I guess. So I feel like I was able to like get more into that headspace. Not necessarily the headspace of somebody losing a significant person in their life to cancer.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's a hospital mood,
Yeah. Like I think just being in that environment, like the mood, like I'm always down for a sad mood, but then it's like an environment like that I think made me more open to the album again. So I ended up liking it more than I liked it. And it also ended up becoming a companion album to Sunbather, where I would listen to Stage 4 and then immediately listen to Sunbather, and it was just a good time.
Yeah, Sunbather by Def Heaven, for those who are unawares. We discussed this.
For the uninitiated.
We discussed, this is how Joey found out, or found Touche Amore. He was recommended by someone through their connection with Sunbather and Def Heaven. So go listen a couple episodes back when that happened. If you want to know how that came to be. But yeah, I'm glad that you have peeled back another layer to enjoy the Stage 4 album, because I think it's fun to talk about, it's fun to experience, and it bodes well, I think, for me revisiting it at some point in my future. Another big one, maybe not big one, maybe that's hyping it up too much. Another album that I listened to over the past fortnight was Metric's new album. They dropped their new album, which is Formentera, I think is how it's pronounced. I I couldn't get into it too much.
Oh
So
man.
it's not bad. It's metric.
Yeah.
And I think I'm saving it. I feel like it just wasn't the right time. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
like Touche Amore, I could tell that like I enjoy it, but I have potential to enjoy it more. I feel like Metric I didn't even really give a fair shot to. I listened to it and I don't really remember a lot of it, and so
Yeah.
I don't have anything negative to say about it. But there's nothing outstanding to say about it as of yet. So maybe I'll revisit that sometime soonish. And I've also just been listening. I revisited some other oldies but goodies for me
Nice.
in Grimes' latest question mark album, uh, Miss Anthropocene. I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
pronouncing that wrong, but it was her 2020 album. Very chill album, very dark and interesting, kind of artsy. I really like that album. And then Buried Alive, about a year ago, I think was their last album, called The Mixed Grape. I revisited that and really enjoyed that album a lot. And they actually just announced a new album coming out this week as well, which I was already listening to The Mixed Grape, and then that came out. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's a fun coincidence, I guess. I didn't realize that it was a year from the Mixed Grape dropping, but yeah. So I revisited some of those. Also, still listening to Soccer Mommy because that's just such a fun album for me.
It's been your vibe.
It's been my vibe as of late.
Man, that Buried Alive, he like must just crank out the music because I mean it's really technically dense.
Yeah.
So like to think that almost reminds me of like Buckethead productivity where he's just like putting out
Yeah,
music
maybe not
all the
that
fuck.
much, but yeah.
Well, Buckethead's just like a shut in, but it's like the type of stuff where it's like how does somebody put out even just consistently like an album a year or something
Yeah.
worth of that type of music? It just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy considering it takes me a month to write half of a demo for a song that I'll never finish, you know. But
And you're not ripping solos that whole
I'm not
song
ripping
either.
solos. I'm not technically proficient at any instrument. I'm just okay at some of them for now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of excited about Buried Alive's new album because they released a single along with the announcement, and it seems like he's really pushing himself like vocally on the upcoming weeks because like clearly he's a very talented and technically proficient guitarist. All drama aside, potentially associated with him in his older stuff, speeding up shit. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that, but like in the single, he really like sings, and he clearly goes out of his like comfort area. Like he has a sound for his vocals on all his other albums, and it feels like on this one he's kind of like stepping outside of that and really pushing himself to sing more than just kind of like, I don't want to say mumble, but he kind of just like says a lot of the lyrics. He kind of like almost raps it, but he had a specific like low key kind of vibe to his vocals, and it feels like he's really going for it on the new single. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens with the new album for them.
Yeah, I definitely caught that kind of like one like range that he had whenever we did the album.
Yeah,
Where it was like yeah, it was almost like rapping, but it
yeah,
was
it's
kind of
kind of
not.
like samey ish.
Yeah.
It felt like vocally there wasn't a lot of variation.
Yeah. But I mean, cheers, kudos to you, Mr. Barry,
Yeah,
to push yourself out of your comfort zone. um as like I've been kind of revisiting older stuff, but there were two things that I listened to that were pretty new this week. And I mean they're bands that I know I like, but it was new stuff from them.
yeah.
I actually today I got recommended by Spotify a new 2-song EP from uh Death Grips called Live from Death Valley. And just the whole thing was 3 minutes long. Like each
Yeah.
song was like a minute and a half. So it was just 2 songs, 3 minutes long. I think it was Poser Killer and Fire something. I don't know. They didn't make a huge impact on me, but what it did do is make me go back and listen to Money Store, which was which
I'm
was really
assuming it's
nice.
another Death Grips album.
Yeah, it's like I think it was their first actual album because they did like an EP called Guillotine. No, wait. No, it wasn't. That was their big song. It was shit, I can't remember it. And the Death
Yeah,
Grips
sure,
fans are fucking rabid, so they're gonna get me.
They don't listen to
They,
podcasts, I'm
they
sure.
don't listen to this podcast at least. Ex-military was the name of it. I forced myself to not look it up and remember it, but it's ex-military. But then Money Store was like the first full album, and it was a 10 out of 10. Like that shit's amazing. But Death Grips, then Zach Hill is the drummer and
Yeah,
producer for Death Grip, so it made me go back and I want to listen to Hella again. So I think I'm going to be doing that next week.
yeah,
Other new thing besides Death Grips was Panopticon, which one of our mutual friends posted something about like a black metal band with banjos, and at the same time we were both like, "Hey, Panopticon,"
yeah.
and then
Having discussed them previously.
yeah, looked him up and realized he had a new album called Collapse, and I really enjoyed it. It matched my mood as of late. Um, I wouldn't say it's better than an Into the Light, and it doesn't tell a story, I feel like, as well as Kentucky did, with it talking about the unionization of coal miners in Kentucky and like rural bumfuck Kentucky that just got absolutely screwed by these
Yeah,
big coal companies. Um, but it's definitely above the status of a solid album. Like it's a good album. It just,
interesting. Maybe I'll check that out.
yeah, I liked it a lot.
I will add it to my list of next week's. There was a new album. There was a big breakthrough album for me, I think, in the past couple weeks. And by that, I mean I found it on like Sunday, past Sunday. So I've only been listening to it for a few days. But it hit so well, and it's just like so interesting to me. The artist is Mothika, whom I've never heard of before, or maybe I've heard of but never listened to any of her music. Um, but the album is Nocturnal, and I think it came out relatively recently, like within the past few weeks, because it came up in my recommended or something. But I listened to that album, and it's so like fascinating and interesting to me, and it's kind of like a dark pop, but more dark than the stuff that we talked about, I guess. Like it's I realized looking back on the whole dark pop arc that we went through, there wasn't a
Yeah,
lot of it that I would actually like. I mean, it was darker than radio pop, but
yeah,
it wasn't like dark stuff. And so like listening to this, it really hits what I like a lot about the dark pop stuff that we didn't go into. Like it reminds me of like Billie Eilish and Halsey and some of that stuff. But it's so interesting, just the sounds and the variety of like genre within this album. Which I mean, it's still a pop album, but like she has a lot of like darker electronic stuff, and then there's like some like heavy metal guitars and stuff in some of the
hell
tracks,
yeah.
all while having these like clean pop vocals and telling a cohesive story throughout the album. And it just, I don't know, it hit perfectly for me. There's like some hip hop elements in it as well in some of the tracks, and it's just like this cool blending of a lot of the modern pop sounds that I tend to enjoy, and just kind of like taking bits and pieces from things that I already enjoy and kind of mashing them together and making something new. So that was kind of a fun discovery for me this week.
So you said it was Nocturnal. I'm gonna listen to that.
Yeah, I
Is
don't.
that
Yeah, I'm curious to see actually what you think of it, having not listened to a lot of the other pop that I would compare it to, at least that I'm aware of. I don't think you've listened to a lot of like Billie Eilish or Halsey or things like that.
I don't. Yeah, I haven't really. I mean, I've heard, of course, like
The hits,
the hits that are
sure.
like everywhere, but I never went into like those people. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it because Mothica. After I looked it up on Spotify, and she's been recommended to me before. Now that I see her like profile picture,
yeah,
so I'm gonna. If Spotify is gonna recommend it to me, and you're gonna recommend it to me, that's two people that are recommending it to me.
yeah. I would recommend it to anybody. Honestly, like it's got some cool vibes throughout it. I wouldn't give up on it too early. I think you're gonna be hooked immediately, and then I think there's gonna be a bit of a lull, but I think you'll overall enjoy it. Just because there's a good variety of stuff happening, and I think you're gonna be able to pick out things that you like throughout the whole album. Hopefully,
Well, I love that dopamine. That's why I play RuneScape. So,
All day, every day.
hell yeah. Not right now, though. Not right now.
To be clear, we're still not playing RuneScape during Feedback Loop. But hey, if you guys want to live stream where
Dude,
we play RuneScape and talk about music, we can make it happen.
if you want to see somebody play RuneScape terribly while talking about music terribly, I'm your
Hell
guy.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Um,
Those are your two favorite things.
Man, speaking of my favorite things, except the opposite of that, so I kind of went in a weird direction. Like I've not listened to rap outside of Kendrick Lamar's newest album
Hmm.
just in a long time. It's
Right.
been like quite a while. And somebody who I liked a lot back when I did listen to a lot of rap was Chance the Rapper. Like he came out with acid rap and I was just like, this shit's fucking amazing. And then
Yeah.
Coloring Book came out and I was like, this shit's pretty good. I like most of it. And then I don't know if you ever listened to any Chance the Rapper, but he then came out with an album called The Big Day that was like, it came out like right after he got married, and there was a lot of like weirdness on it where he was like talking about being married, but also still like a lot of his other songs are about just like fucking random women and
Yeah.
like just general stuff, and
Yeah.
like
I
it's
haven't listened to that album, but that feels to me like the album was written before, or at least a lot of some of the album was probably written before he settled down and got married, and then
yeah. Well, there was some of the like, yeah, and just like some of the lyrics were just really shitty. I don't have any of them pulled up, but it was just really poorly written
I think it was like
lyrics.
phoned in.
Yeah, just like, and that the whole thing was like an hour and a half long. It was just way too long,
Yeah.
and it was just very generic, but also very bad. So I haven't I haven't listened, not to just shit on Chance the Rapper, because Acid
Sure.
Rap was still is like one of my favorite albums from that time period at least. But
Yeah.
so I went back and listened to it just to try to revisit it because I was in the mood to try to like figure out maybe I like it now. Maybe I'm in a different place.
Hmm.
I went back and listened to The Big Day. No, I don't like, I dislike it even more than I used to. It's so bland and it's so off-putting, and it's just like I don't
You now
know.
have a more nuanced hatred for it.
Yeah, like it's man, and he just like there's so many parts where he's just talking about like loving his wife, which is awesome. Great. I'm glad you love your wife, man. Because
Yeah.
that was the big fucking meme whenever everybody started like bashing on the album after it came out on Twitter. He would just respond to all hate with all caps. I love my wife. I love my. That's all he would say, and it's just like, dude, we fucking get it, but you made a shitty album.
Yeah.
But that experience made me want to then revisit two albums by an artist that I really liked. It's more rap. I don't know if you've listened to Ab Soul. He's
Not specifically. I mean, he's been featured in things that I've heard, but I've not sought his music out specifically.
yeah, so he was part of the Top Dog Entertainment. He was the four with it was Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, Ab Soul, and J Rock made up like the Black Hippie crew collective, whatever.
Yeah.
And they all did like got Top Dog. I don't know if they actually I don't think they started Top Dog, but they're the ones who like put it on the map, I guess.
Yeah.
And his 2012 album Control System, I was just like all about. I fucking loved that album. And then his next two albums, These Days and then Do What Thou Wilt, were I liked them, but they weren't near as good as Control System to me.
Hmm.
I liked These Days more than I liked Do What Thou Wilt, but I figured I'd go back to him, And I was like, shit, I'm hating all over Chance the Rapper now. Might as well just go back and see if I like Absol still. And those held up. In fact, I think I like both of them more now than I did back when they came out. So that was pleasant.
Cool.
And
You had a little bit of redemption.
yeah, I would recommend anybody who I don't know, hasn't listened to those albums, maybe people who were just into like the big Top Dog stuff, like because back when in 2012 was like really when they were busting onto the
Yeah.
scene, and I mean Kendrick, of course, kept up like going. He just fucking kept going, and Schoolboy Q, I feel like he did a pretty good job of
Mm-hmm.
staying in, like with the Oxymoron album that came out after like 2012. I feel like he stayed on the scene pretty big. But then J Rock and Absol kind of came off. I'd tell people go visit their back catalog because it's pretty good. Their older stuff is pretty good.
Well, cool. Maybe I'll check into Absol because I think what I've heard I've enjoyed when he's been featured in other things. And I feel like I've almost dipped my toe into Absol before and just never actually did. So maybe I'll add that to my list of things to do as well. The only other album that I've listened to I don't even want to say extensively. I do this all the time. I start saying something and I realize it's just not true. So I change my mind.
I'm just
But
lying.
the guy that recommended Puya to me,
Mm-hmm.
he works at the dollar store near my house. I went back in there and I saw him again. He's like, "Hey, like, do you listen to metal?" And I was like, "Bro, come on, yeah, I listen to metal.
Totally.
I listen to the metal. I listen to electronic. I listen to whatever." And he goes, "Okay, well, there's this local band called Malignant Vision. Have you heard of them?" I was like, "No, I haven't." It's like, "Well, it's my friend's band or my cousin's band or something. They're this local death metal band called Malignant Vision." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll check them out." They got a few songs out. I think they have an EP that has like 3 or 4 songs on it. So I checked that out. Not bad. Not bad at all
Oh,
for what I was expecting from a local death metal band here in southern Indiana. But yeah, pleasantly surprised. There's some good like thrash elements to it. It's not something that I would listen to repeatedly a lot, but I didn't have any like real criticism with the album. It's just not really my kind of metal, so to
well, hell
speak.
yeah.
But
I'm going to go
it's
check
good.
that out.
It holds up. I would definitely recommend it if you guys are into death metal kind of things. So check out Malignant Vision. I think it's Holodomor. Holo
Okay,
is the new thing.
cool. They're on
Uh,
Spotify. That was going to be my next question if that was the name. Holodomer.
yeah, Holodomor. I don't know. They apparently the guy messed up his Spotify account or something, so he has 2 accounts floating out there. But the one with 2020 is Holodomor. Domor. Domer. I don't know. With that album slash EP is the correct one, I think.
Well, hell yeah. They're playing a Mag Bar Music Fest on July 21st in Louisville. All you
Let's go.
local people, go check them out.
We'll be there. Maybe that's next week. That's on a
Yeah.
Wednesday too.
Oh, geez.
That's not happening
That's
for me,
yeah.
buds.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I'll listen to your album on Spotify though. I'll give you 3 cents, I guess.
Yeah. Give them a thumbs up. Give them a subscribe. Maybe we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, future plans for the upcoming fortnight. Uh, I have a handful. I want to revisit Wet Leg because I
Yeah.
know I listened to them when that album dropped, and then it kind of just it got pushed to the back burner, and other shit was happening at the time, and they've been on my mind a little bit. So I want to revisit that because I feel like that was a fun album just to listen to. I want to check out Billy Strings. He's a
Oh, fuck yeah.
bluegrass country kind of guitarist and singer. One of my friends recommended him to me a while back, and I just never got around to it. And then this week, I saw a video of him playing with Post Malone. Post Malone came out on stage and sang a Johnny Cash song, I
Hell
think,
yeah.
Billy Strings, and it was just fun to watch. And they were having fun. And I know Billy Strings is a very talented guitarist,
Yeah.
so I'm sure I'm gonna love that. So I'll check out one of his albums. And then, other than the other 2 albums that I've added, the Panopticon and then Absol, there is a prog metal band that was recommended to me by YouTube Music called Native Construct or Quiet World. One of them is the album title. I really should have had better notes on this. The band is Native Construct. The album is Quiet World, and I listened to it not last week but the week before, I think, and it was very strange and very like proggy in the weirdest ways. And I wasn't really like paying attention to it at the time, but it just kept like catching me off guard with whatever I would pick up in my ear. So I want to actually like give it like a good listen and see if I actually have an opinion on it or not.
Well, hell yeah. Um, I don't know. Future plans. I don't really have too many. I'm revisiting a playlist that way back at like the beginning. It was maybe like March-ish of 2021, early 2021. I found this playlist called "This Body Means Nothing to Me," and it's, I guess, titled off of this song by a band called Shrimp. I was gonna look more into them because as I was looking through that playlist, whoever formed this playlist on Spotify uh, put Soccer Mommy in there. So apparently I've heard a Soccer Mommy song. It's Your Dog was the Soccer Mommy song. So I guess I had heard Soccer Mommy before and just had it contextualized in this playlist that I found. So I never really thought too much of it. But yeah, I'm going to check out Shrimp. I'm going to check out this other person on this playlist called Johnny Goth, because, you know, he's got some songs I like on there. And, you know, just going to get more into that sad boy vibe.
Yeah, Johnny Goth definitely feels like some like new wave punk electro kind of British thing.
Hell yeah.
It sounds like a vibe just all by itself. Johnny Goth.
He's got some good songs, that's for sure.
Well, if you guys have any good songs that you want us to listen to, let us know. Find us on social media, drop some comments, all that good shit. Because we're all about finding new shit, and hopefully you guys are finding new shit if you're listening to us and checking things out. There's a lot of shit, and I don't mean shit as like a bad way. I mean just things, stuff, music. There's so much.
There is also a lot of shit though, like bad shit.
There is a lot of shit. Hey, maybe if you want to look at it that way, you know, Joey and I are just wading through shit and finding the gems and telling you what is shit and what is not shit. You should take our word for it and don't think for yourself. Don't form your own opinions. Just accept that what we say is law. Chance the Rapper's newest album. Don't listen to it. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, don't. Please don't, trash. Actually.
It's absolute trash, apparently. Maybe I'll listen to it and disagree with Joey just for sake of argument next week. But I don't know. You guys don't know the deal. Stay on FeedbackLoop.
Bye.